There's actually smoke in the air. It's windy. Smell fire. I guess the Hawks don't like either. And let me talk about core truths in regards to teaming up, aka why I won't team up with anyone and I'll never settle. I'm sorry if anyone thinks it's what I should do, but I have to do what is the right thing to do. Life is but a breath. All these people have the option to have some attractive women team up with me, tell her what's going on, keep telling a bunch of attractive women, say, hey, we're gonna, kind of pay you a monthly stipend, some money to move over to an island with this guy, get your tubes tied, make videos with him, try to, calm him down, try to make him more polite, try to make him say things that we want to hear more. Not that I would have, mind you, but I could have put it in a way that's more diplomatic, that went down a lot more easy, right? Okay? They chose not to. 100 years from now, people probably won't even know who I am, and there'll be a whole different world. There'll be technology everywhere, and so on and so forth. Okay? So it's not affecting their ultimate direction. And if I get married or something and don't have any kids, it's not going to really affect their love life. How is it going to affect their love life? Right? So there's no logical reason for them to sabotage me to this degree, change my form, etc. So consider this, and consider every culture's role in it and everything else they've done, their crimes against humanity and God, how they choose to be immoral. They might not be able to feed anybody. They might be very poor, but they certainly have the option to do the most moral thing while a child starves every 6 seconds. Every culture that is allowed doesn't do that, and that has to do with the moral order. The only way to be moral is to not cheat the moral leader, and then from there, have the moral leader advise you, direct you, etc., and advise him on whether you think it's fair. It's the only way to be moral. Everything else is immoral. It's chaos. Chaos for no reason, and cheating the most moral person is immoral. Okay, with this being said, core truths in regards to teaming up, aka why I won't, and I'll never settle romantically. Number one, no path or offer should lead to obeying evil, playing stupid about evil, or accepting evil that is demonic and not worthwhile. That life is not worthwhile. Under no circumstances should I obey anyone else because I'm the top of the moral order. Okay, when we're talking about traffic, yeah, I stop at stop signs. When someone waves me by, I'll go by within reason. As far as who I should date, what I should say, watering down my truths, right? This is stupid. Okay, so no path should lead to this, to obeying them, or even going through the motions, because the moral thing to do is to communicate what morality really is. It's not enough to just be moral. One has to try their best to appear moral so people understand what being moral is. How much of an injustice is it if I don't? That's like making a freeway or making a road and putting confusing signs there to cause people to get in an accident. It's not enough to build a road. You have to put the proper signs. Point number two. The spirit of obeying God through the moral order is the most important thing, and that is why point one is what it is. That's why I put it as point two. So point two actually is more important than point one, but point one needs to be straight, needs to be made clear. It addresses the title right away. Okay, why I won't team up with anybody, because no path should lead to me teaming up with them under their terms. They have to give me my rightful place, or it's not right to team up with them. Okay, especially when we consider what's at stake. Number three, no one else is doing God's work or even trying, or they would be tortured to the extreme. Okay, so no one else that I've come across is trying to do God's work. Okay, what I really mean to say. No one else anywhere is actually doing God's work, or else they would be obeying God through me, because it is immoral, whether you do it deliberately or not, to cheat the most moral person out of his right to lead. I use the example of manslaughter or something like this. If you hit somebody on the road and they die, do you say, hey, you know what, that doesn't matter at all because I didn't know what I was doing? Okay, you've got to admit that sometimes what you don't know makes it immoral. Okay, so the logical assumption here obviously is that one must search for the true leader. There's people trying to be leaders all over the place. To not address this argument is stupid. To assume that everyone should be their own leader when some people have are mentally challenged, some people are so greedy they can't overcome it, people are confused, people are being covertly drugged, people are overtly taking drugs, and so on and so forth. That argument is insane. All right, point number four. No psychology or propaganda. These things are evil. 5. There must be honest, critical analysis of behaviors, and this is key. So after I'm gone, obviously, there won't be a valid moral leader because the logic won't add up, okay? They won't be able to meet the burden of proof. When we look at society, we see a bunch of conformists. Immediately, they're a cop, we can rule them out. They're in the military, we can rule them out. Mental health, we can rule them out. When they're doing something that is reinforcing social norms, okay, we can rule them out. Social norms are evil. Satan is the god of this world, so to speak. They have to have something about them that makes it different. Like me, I'm biracial, but I'm the son of an African brain surgeon who came here as a refugee. I made my top martial artist challenge. I go on and on about the divine order. In the Horus myth, it talks about the divine order. Why doesn't anyone else talk about the divine order in a way that is logical? They might get on some fucking sex cult garbage, secret society lunacy that everyone should see through times 10. But they don't go out in public and say, this is what the moral order is. This is what moral precision is. This is why focus, moral intensity gives the true leader his crown. Okay, it's insane not to understand that I'm right. And if you don't understand why I shouldn't team up with people on their terms after this video, please watch it again, take notes.